welcome to This Week in Movies, where we're going to be looking at the biggest, craziest stories from the week, and the most important, which of course means that we have to start with Paddington 2. Once considered the greatest movie of all time on Rotten Tomatoes, which, as everyone knows, is gospel for movie rating and viewing, sitting at a perfect 100% for literal years, been the number one rated movie. Not any longer. Some critic decided this week that it was a great time to upload the 2017 review he wrote about this movie and just bring that score down from a perfect 100 to a little 99%, like just a disgusting 99%. I'm sickened by it. I think that this is Paddington slander. This is a slander operation against Paddington by some Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind truthist, and I will not stand for it. I have never seen Paddington 2, but you know what? If Rotten Tomatoes tells me that it's the greatest movie of all time, then I have to take Rotten Tomatoes' word for it. Let's look at the review that this man wrote about this movie. So Eddie Harrison decides, hey, I need to upload my negative Paddington 2 review, where I gave it a 2 out of 5 back in 2017. So let's check out Eddie's full review here. The charm is entirely missing from the two Paddington films. That looks like a charming bear, if you ask me. Let's see. Paddington's adventures are traditionally small scale, putting up some wallpaper or fixing a tap. So now he's slandering honest working jobs for millions of people. For Paddington 2, a few choice elements are added to shore things up. Hugh Grant sends up himself in his profession as a self-regarding actor, and even has a song and dance number from prison in the final scene. All well and good, but nothing to do with Paddington. And the same can be said for the plot, lifted from the theater of blood. I bet you they were like, you know what we should do for Paddington 2? Paddington 1, big hit. Paddington 2, did you ever see Theater of Blood? Let's just do that, but with Paddington Bear. I reviewed Paddington 2 negatively for BBC Radio on release in 2017 and on multiple occasions after that. And I stand by every word of my criticism. This is not my Paddington Bear, but a sinister, malevolent imposter who should be shot into space or nuked from space at the first opportunity. This man wants to nuke this bear. Look at that bear. You want to drop a nuke on Paddington? This just feels excessive. So, read the review, see what he has to say. You see that he is taking Paddington 2 very personally here, hence the negative review. And you're like, okay, well, you know, he seems to absolutely hate Paddington Bear in this iteration, so I wonder what people are saying to him. So you come down here to the reviews, and there are some people that are like, what's wrong with you? You heartless, soulless man, you should be ashamed. I'm concerned for you. Your review torpedoed Paddington's perfect rating. Nice. I respect your opinion, however, ruining Paddington's 100% rating is a crime that cannot be forgiven. Aaron Taylor Johnson was just announced as the new Kraven the Hunter for Sony to be in an individual standalone Kraven the Hunter movie that is scheduled right now to come out in 2023. Assuming that we haven't melted the planet or exploded or something. So he is going to play Kraven the Hunter for Sony Pictures for their standalone universe. There's no word on if it's going to lead to a crossover with Spider-Man. There's no word on any of that. It's just all we know is Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to be Kraven the Hunter. The problem is the studio executives at Sony didn't know who Aaron Taylor Johnson was. They had to look him up as they were watching dailies from a movie he's filming with Brad Pitt called Bullet Train. And they were like, hey, this guy's pretty good. You know what? Here's the quote Here's the quote from the producer. It was a I had to look him up kind of thing. I didn't have a lot of familiarity. And then we start watching these incredible dailies, and you really see the full-on action star. He's charming and he's funny, and he's holding his own against Brad Pitt. And a lot of people can't do that. He is right. Not a lot of people can do that. It just so happens that Aaron Taylor Johnson has also done this in films including Tenet, Nocturnal Animals, where he was nominated for dozens of awards, a little movie called Avengers: Age of Ultron, where he was Quicksilver, and he held his own against the literal Avengers. Godzilla, I don't know if anybody saw Godzilla. Are they still making Godzilla movies at all? Maybe maybe that was just a low. But he had these little indie movies called Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2, which may have just come and went without you realizing. You might not have heard about those. It's understandable. Savages, which was actually trash, but he was fine in it. So the man has been making pretty well known and recognized movies for the better part of a decade at least. So the fact that this exec had to be like, Aaron what? You want Aaron Johnson? What? Hang on, let me Google that. Do you think he like Googles it and reads the IMDb and the movie credits and is like, oh wow, yeah, that guy wants to be Craven? Cool. Hey, you know what? That makes my job easier. After years of rumors and stop and go productions, the Uncharted movie seems to be on track to be coming out. We have started to see promotional imagery being released for the movie, starring Tom Holland as Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg as his trusty mentor and companion Sully. And Mark Wahlberg here is really going for it. He is absolutely unrecognizable in this first look. I mean, look at that. Look at which one's Mark Wahlberg? I don't know. I can't tell. Chameleon. That chameleon Mark Wahlberg is at it again. Here is what Sully looks like. Get that. That is what he looks like in the game. We have Mark Wahlberg holding it down, looking exactly the same. What a realistic and true to character approach that he is taking. And that is just because of his commitment as an actor. That is a dedicated performer right there. I switched it to Mark Wahlberg and you don't even know because he looks spitting image. So on top of this sneak peek, we also got a new look at the first clip of it from a promo reel that Sony Pictures put out. And here we go. It's Mark Wahlberg, and he turns, and he looks, and one second he's wearing a bow tie, and the next second he's not wearing a bow tie, and Tom Holland is literally just stuck in the background. Like, they were like, hey, you know how this movie is Uncharted, and it's about Nathan Drake, but like, let's put Nathan Drake back. Hey, Nathan, get away for a second, Nathan. We gotta show off the goods here with this incredible Mark Wahlberg transformation that we need to have on display. Like, this is gonna get the people talking. We only have 2 seconds in this sizzle reel here, Tom. You go ahead and just take a step back. In an absolutely astonishing move, it has been announced that Timothée Chalamet will be playing Willy Wonka in a brand new origin story for Warner Brothers, working with Roald Dahl's organization and company. This is just an insane sentence any way you cut it. So the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is beloved by millions. Gene Wilder absolutely embodies that role. It's, one of the most easily recognizable and identifiable characters and performances in the history of cinema, I would go so far as to say. Johnny Depp one, not quite as iconic. It doesn't say if he will be doing this as a prequel to the Johnny Depp version, or a prequel to the Gene Wilder version, or if this is going to be our own new Willy Wonka story. Like, imagine if they're going to do this like Joker style, because it is Warner Brothers. Maybe Warner Brothers is just into gritty origin movies now. Imagine Timothée Chalamet is a young Willy Wonka that is just pushed to his limit and decides what he needs to do to lash out at people and get his revenge is create unbelievably sweet, high sugar content chocolate as a way to slowly poison the minds and bodies of the people that have wronged him. Is that dark enough yet? Because Chalamet, there is sinisterness in that man's face. Like that is a sinister young man if you put him in the right role. And if you give him dark Willy Wonka, like whatever his name might be first, like Wendell something, and they just decide he snaps and is like, call me Wonka, and like that's the big moment in the trailer or something, is he slaps the candy bar down and he's like, it's a Wonka bar. There's so many possibilities here that are never going to happen because they would be absolutely insane to put that type of stuff on film. But just let your imagination run away with it for just a second, please. It announced that Todd Phillips will return to co-write Joker 2. No word on if he's going to direct it. No word on if Joaquin Phoenix is going to come back to the role that finally got him an Academy Award, which is an insane sentence to say out loud, that Joker was the movie that got Joaquin Phoenix his first Academy Award. But I don't know where you go from here. Like, is it gonna just be like a retread of the original, where you just kind of tell the origin story differently to fit with the Joker's characterization of like, my origin story is multiple choice? Or is this gonna be like a sequel straight up where he's, I mean, fighting Batman sounds kind of insane to say in the universe that they set up in Joker 1. Is he going to be interacting with other villains and rogues from the Batman catalog? Like, it seems like this is something where they crafted a story, they put the story out, the movie did much better than anyone could have anticipated and won awards because Joaquin Phoenix decided to just put everything on his back and go for it. And now they're like, well, hey, you'll pay how much? What? I just want to make sure I hear you right. Okay. Todd Phillips is like, I am in, guys. We'll go back to Las Vegas. He'll forget everything again. Oh, wait. Okay, how about this? How about Taxi Driver? But okay. That's one, like, I don't know what the sequel could be aside from just him being like, I am the Joker. Again. Society has pushed me to be the Joker. Again. So I'll be very interested to see what happens. And I talk all this shit, but I'll be there. Like, I'll be there probably the weekend this thing opens because I'm a slave to movies and comic book movies and pop culture in general. But it's just interesting. It's interesting to see what gets sequels and what doesn't. And this thing entirely hinges upon Joaquin Phoenix being like, sure, or nah. Because if there's an actor I can count on to be like, I don't want anything to do with this piece of trash movie, it's going to be Joaquin Phoenix. If he says, then I'm going to know right away that this is probably going to be a stinker. Chad Michael Murray has been announced as playing Ted Bundy in a brand new movie called American Boogie Man. Chad Michael Murray is just the latest actor to take on the role of Ted Bundy, who for some reason continues to just get movies made about him as if he was like Leonardo DiCaprio or like Frank Abagnale Jr. levels of charming and dashing. And it's insane to me that we keep getting Ted Bundy movie after Ted Bundy movie. Like, I cannot believe it, because look at this guy. Like, I don't see this like super hot, oh man, I couldn't possibly say no to this guy. Look how charming this guy is. Like, I don't see that at all. Like, this dude looks like every white serial killer that we've had over the last like 75 years. I don't understand. Like, Can we just get one movie that's like, hey, maybe the cops were a little lazy when it came to like cracking the case and realizing that it was a crazy white person handling it, like responsible for everything? Because I think that, the lore and the legend of Ted Bundy being this like devastatingly handsome, charming sociopath is really boosted by these police officers that are like, we had no idea. He was just so convincing. We didn't know. And it just feels a lot like they're just covering their bases. Like they're like, someone called and was like, hey, you should check out Ted Bundy. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. And then they go, and it's like that scene in the movie where they're like, oh, well, he was a pretty nice guy. I don't know. It seems a little crazy to me that we get to watch a super handsome actor play Ted Bundy as a super handsome, charming, conniving type of fella. Again, like the Zac Efron movie just came out like last year. Elijah Wood's making one right now where he's not Ted Bundy, but he's like the cop who makes a good relationship with Ted Bundy. Like, just so much Ted Bundy. I think that there's other serial killers that we can lean on or make films about, or maybe just other stories in general. I think the serial killer thing might be, I think the market has been saturated on Ted Bundy. I think we are okay for 6 months. Maybe just Netflix docs or something. Like, we don't need the big budget movie adaptations.